Hello and welcome back to another V Rising video. So we're going to be doing things a little different today in that we are not actually going to be watching or interacting with something similar to my first V Rising video. We're going to actually be going through a dev update here. This one is dev update number 26, the Ruins of Mortium. This is kind of what we've been focusing on in the last couple of days just because the new zone is coming out and that is going to be the 1.0 update. So the new zone is going to be called the Ruins of Mortium for people who are curious. So we'll go through this slowly and I'll talk about all the new things that are happening. This is the update 1.0 if you want to check that out. This is Dracula's design, the new one. V-Rising is still in early access price. You can get the opportunity if you want to get it cheaper than normal if you want. So yeah, we'll go through first and we will take a look at this one. So today we plunge into the cold dark depths of the Ruins of Mortium to explore our vampire history with the turn of the King of Kindred. It is perhaps time to remind ourselves who we are and explore the new revelations of our people's legend. We're cracking open ancient tomes and telling old tales and getting a taste of what it is to come with the coming invasion that threatens the return of Dracula. Before we start, have you seen everything we have coming May 8th? If not, make sure you take a look. We've got everything coming in 1.0 in one place just for you, our beloved Nikin. So I think this here is just gonna link the ad back to that. So we will go back to the dev blog itself. So this was ours. Long ago, the realms of humankind stood proud in the light, a great civilization in the long shadows of the mighty citadels of men. Vampires ruled through well-placed ploys and manipulations. That was an age of diplomacy, with many clans playing their courts against one another in games of blood and clever trickery. Families of vampires fell in and out of power, trading places as easily as pieces on a chessboard. Then came Dracula, wielding new magic from a realm beyond the Shadow Realm. The self-declared immortal king brought with him an area of domination and tyranny. Dracula's cunning and played his games well, and his malevolence was unmatched. He demanded nothing less than total submission, something that did not sit well with the proud vampire courts of the day. And the following brutal civil war among vampire kind, unwavering loyalty bred servitude. Thus his own army emerged, a militant cult known as the Legions of Knam. Many clans attempted to resist his rule. So we've got the design right here. Pretty cool. We'll zoom in really quickly so I can give it a really good look. As you can see, it's very not exactly what I expected originally from Dracula, and the short hair kind of is different, but you know, I'm not going to complain. I think the sword is really cool, so that's going to be really nice. Hopefully we'll get that. Path of the Warlord. Dracula is hungry for battle, and though still embroiled in conflict with many factions of the night, he turned his attention to his next target. Confident in his power and filled with a burning need to inflict his will on those below him, the conqueror would march on anyone who would raise a hand against him. A violent campaign carved a path across Vardarin, vampire against vampire, with humans caught in the middle and driven to the brink of extinction. So yeah, Dracula's always been kind of a part of V-Rising. Obviously, the game is sort of focused on the vampires and stuff. And Dracula's Castle is in the middle of Vardarin, and we've been waiting to get this final battle, so it's going to be super exciting to see how it turns out. I'm going to try and go through all this text, obviously. Some of it I might skim just because there's a lot of text in this dev blog. It's kind of almost like a lore update in some ways. But yeah, I'm excited for the lore, so I'll try and be as concise as possible. So resourceful as they are, the humans tried everything they could to resist the vampire onslaught. They developed vampire hunting techniques, discovered various vampire anathemas like silver and garlic, and even devised terrible biological experiments to find weapons against the nocturnal armies. Despite these small steps forward, nothing could stand against the might of the Legion of Knam and Dracula's powerful shadow magic. So this is really cool. Obviously we see this with a lot of the V-Blood bosses. They have things like garlic and light powers, and you can't really get around them until we figure out ways to do so. Which usually are things like you have to like buy stuff or get new powers in order to get around them. So that's really cool that's really integral to the Dracula's lore. Price of pride and desperation, humankind called out for help and was answered with the powers of the light. This new power was harnessed by those who gave themselves to this new mysterious force, and so the Church of Lumens was born. The shocking new power allowed mankind to push back against the vampires, driving into the heart of the invading forces where they were able to strike down Dracula himself. So we can see here, this is Solaris. what used to be the final boss of the game. I have to admit, I really enjoyed when Solaris was the final boss of the game, and not Adam. I think Adam is a better boss fight than Solaris in some ways, but I think Solaris, the lore behind Solaris, and him just being this epic kind of final light boss was really interesting. Additionally, in the V Rising intro, you get to see Solaris near the end, so that was fun. Excuse me, I'm just drinking some water. Anyways, so the resulting fallout of the once immortal king's final act devastated the world, leaving a scar that would last to this very day. One massive crystallized blood monument is believed to be his final resting place. The other is a legacy. It reigned 7 days and 7 nights with cursed blood, massacring many, exposed and permanently twisting and changing others. Okay, this is new lore right here. This is something that we did not know about. For the longest time, I actually had no clue what this gem thing was. Now that we actually know, this is where, I think it says here, this is his final resting place, which is really intriguing because we, in the trailer, do see the character go back in time and Dracula's Castle to fight him. But maybe this will be something we will also have to interact with. As you can see, there seems to be a staff of light here, and this also looks like it could be a staff of light. Kind of hard to say, though. These changed creatures, human and beast alike, would unknowingly continue to carry on Dracula's evil will throughout the centuries, carrying his essence in their bloodlines and enhancing their abilities. This allowed them to pursue their hidden and unlocked potential. These creatures became the V-Bloods that inhabit Vardaran today, often achieving positions of great importance due to their abilities and aspirational aims. These corrupted individuals even existed among the Church of Luminance themselves, heralding their strange powers for their blessings of the light. Meanwhile, Dracula's defeat, while true, was a ploy of its own. A great strategist always has a contingency plan, and his reign of blood planted the seeds of his inevitable revenge. Super intriguing. Now we'll see how that will interact with the game. V-Rising has never really been a game super focused on its lore, in all honesty. It's not really a story game, it's more of a crafting and adventure game. It kind of is similar to a game like Elden Ring in that there is a background story if you really look into it. But we'll see if this update is going to really push the story a little bit more. I think that'd be kind of cool to get a little bit more of a story. So, Ruins of Mortium. The world of Valancia is littered with ancient memories of vampire kind, forgotten symbols of their former greatness among the ruins of abandoned strongholds all throughout the world. Now and more so, however, than the cold wasteland to the east. Forgotten Castle Heart, as you can see here. So, Draculas Castle sits empty and decrepit in the depths of his ancestral home, Mortium. Far into the corrupted reaches, his forces flourished and built their civilization in this frozen land, protected from the sun by a sky grown overcast around his seat of power. Once a land adorned with towering black spires and monuments to the Night King, has since been forsaken and forgotten following Dracula's defeat and the banishment of vampires into hiding. Now it has a hospital to most life, it remains a desolate, barren wasteland untouched for centuries. So this is intriguing. We now know that the area in the middle of the of Vardaran, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be his castle anymore. This is always was kind of rumored to be, but I think this devlog here now is saying that that his castle is in Mortium, which is in the far right corner of the map. So we'll see if we get a map update. Oh, speak of the devil, right here. Okay, yeah, so this is so interesting to kind of just get a good look on. So what is intriguing to me is there used to be a spot right here. This is where Dracula's Castle was supposed to be. I'm curious as to if they're going to fill this out now. Obviously, you can see now there's a whole area right here that looks like intentionally made for Dracula's Castle right at the edge of the Ruins of Mortium. This is the old zone of Mortium right here, or the Hallowed Mountains here. So obviously we'd be going in through here and then going in this area. And it looks to me like the Ruins of Mortium as of this update is looking to be about the same size as around the Cursed Forest. Maybe southern Gloomrot itself. Okay. Hidden among cold peaks are the old relics of the world's greatest civilization, fallen into repair as they slumbered. From the steps of Dracula's courtyard down his great garden and off into the ruins of the sacrificial sites, battlements, towns, and graveyards that pepper the landscape, the one mighty bastion of Vardaran's top predators now lay in frosted over shards of its former majesty. Frigid Hills and Mortium lie in untouched ruins until only recently, where Dracula's servants have come to life once again. From his throne in the Shadow Realm, Dracula has been biding his time and now calls for his most dedicated acolytes to rise to a new challenge. The next step of his sinister plan is return to Vardoran from the dark depths of another world. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why they decided to go with the Shadow Realm like that. Like it's hilarious. Don't get me wrong, but like this is just such a like everyone's thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh when you see this. It's like, what are you doing, guys? Like this is it just like everything else sounds so like different, and this is just so not original of a concept. Like that was definitely my biggest complaint. I'm like, it's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. I think it's funny, but like, like choose a different name. Jesus Christ. The legions have knocked him. The dead silence of the cold night is broken by the thrum of ancient chanting, the hum of long-forgotten prayers to a distant, horrid place scattering the resting quiet of the ruins of Mortium. The Legion of Noctum rises more like a scattered cult of fanatical servants than the endless armored armies they once were. So we saw this video already. Over time, the Legion has shifted its focus from formerly conquerors on the battlefield. They now employ a different approach. The Legion has become practitioners of rituals as well as executioners, gathering blood crystals and sacrificing offerings to open rift portals to the Shadow Realm. Interesting. Okay. Through these portals, they summon terrifying monsters from beyond. Dracula's abominable new soldiers, the Draculan, are brought into our world to aid in collecting blood crystals and the blood essence. Their goal is to bring Dracula back to the world of the living. Once that is complete, they will be unleashed across the rest of Vardoran to wreak havoc and reclaim the world in the Dark Dictator's name. A lot of interesting things to unpack here. As you can see, it looks like this is like some sort of shadow cultist. It looks like this Shadow Realm thing is really something they're really pushing with the endgame events, and so it's going to be interesting to see how we interact with this. Obviously, I'm kind of memeing on the name, but like at the end of the day, it still is kind of like a dark realm in which Dracula is in, and it's cool that we're going to be interacting with that at the very least. When you awaken, you are one such vampire that once stood against the tide of Dracula's forces, awakened by the thrum of his power singing through the lands of Vardoran once more. It'll be up to you to regain your power and make the so-called king of vampires pay the price of his hubris and carelessly calling you back into this fight. It's time to climb to the top of the nocturnal hierarchy, shattering old vampire legends and crafting your own legacy along the way. Yeah, cool. I like that we were originally like a warrior against Dracula, or with Dracula. I don't know what it's implying here, but that we're kind of coming back. That's interesting. Okay, new details here. This is interesting. The old legends awoken from their slumber are key members of Dracula's surviving generals, the most trusted and capable vampires from the days of the monarch's rule. You'll find these new adversaries within the depths of Noctum, watching the roadways or overseeing the operations within the frozen wastes to make certain their lord's plan comes to fruition. It's also a place for one of Dracula's oldest and most fearsome soldiers. So, got General Lena here. Interesting boss. Kind of looks like it could be like a frost boss of some sort, just based off the blue armor. Lena was once a talented weaver, a wife, a mother, and friend. Now she is none of those things. When Dracula's forces descend on her village and harvest his people, she hid in the chaos and witnessed the horror firsthand. Discovered by the immortal king himself, he saw an opportunity to twist a suffering creature to his whim. He shaped her into an ice-cold killing machine, a perfect servant for the Legion of Noctum. Very cool. General Cassis the Betrayer. Once a highly skilled and respected officer within the ranks of the Church of Luminance, Cassis served as a powerful paladin who led a troop tasked with hunting down Dracula himself. The mission ended in failure, overpowered by the immortal king and forced into servitude with the dark influence of a sentient blade. Nightfall edge affecting his mind, Cassis now serves as a loyal general for the Legion of Noctum. This is interesting. Obviously giving off Plague vibes here with the eyes and stuff, this new blade and stuff. So we got a Plague boss, we got an Ice boss, we got a Plague boss, and Blood boss, I guess, here. General Valancia the Depraved. This is the boss we saw actually in the trailer for a couple seconds. I thought originally this might just be a player character, but obviously that's not the case. Valancia was once a human baroness, part of an affluent noble family from before the Great War. Always hungry for power, ambitious, and utterly without moral tethers, she saw the rise of Dracula and his legions as an opportunity to surpass her human limitations and become something greater. Impressed with their utter depravity, Dracula granted the Baroness' wish. Valancia now serves as a vicious general of the Legion of Noctum. Getting off pretty big Carmilla vibes here. And boom, baby, he's back. Let's see how this is going to work. Legendary vampire from the age of Dracula who is reawakened by the call of the immortal king. Known for his ferocity in the battlefield against the forces of the church and rival vampire alike, he has more than earned his place as the Knight Champion of the Legion of Noctem. His presence at the heart of Dracula's demise suggests that operations there are of vital importance to Dracula's plans. So this is super cool. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what they're gonna do with this. If they're gonna be, this is a stretch. Maybe there'll be like 2, because Lord Styx is already a V-Blood boss. He's one of the last V-Blood bosses. I think now in the current patch, he is technically the last V-Blood boss before the carriers, the shard bosses. So it would be interesting to see if like we can get Lord Styx as like something like a double boss, and that we have to fight him in his normal form and then in his Dracula form or something. I think that would be really cool from a boss perspective. It's sometimes nice to get those opportunities to try it and battle someone you've already battled before. Wretched Rituals deep in the wallowing cold of the ruins of Mortium, the Legion of Noctem is making moves with resources they've stockpiled from their excavations in the heart of Dunley farmlands. With the use of morbid blood-tainted rituals, they call forth Draculan legions to further their plans, each shoulder another hand to assist in getting them to the ultimate goal of bringing their Dark Lord into being. This is interesting. They're saying that they're kind of like getting stuff from the Dunley farmlands. If we go back to the map really quickly, we can really quickly see that the map has it so that the ruins of Mortium is right next to the Dunley farmlands. So you never know. We could have a passageway here where there are vampires coming out of ruins of Mortium into the Dunley farmlands, and we get that kind of we get that roaming activity that the Sunlock's been talking about, how they kind of want to make the game feel a little more alive, right? So. By crafting the Eye of Mortium, you will gain insight into the cosmic disturbances of the Legion enacts them, which will allow a clever vampire to capitalize on this otherworldly intrusion to steal rare valuables. Cutting your way through these rituals let you carve out remnants of the Shadow Realms, Stygian shards, which will be your reward for unraveling these rift incursions. Alright, so this is massive. I think this is kind of what they're implying is going to be the endgame thing. You get to craft this thing. Allows you to kind of look into Mortium, see what's happening. Cutting your way through these rituals lets you carve out remnants of the Shadow Realm. These Stygian shards when you complete rifts. So I think it's sounding like there's going to be individual rifts. You go and you you beat the rifts, and then you just kind of rinse and repeat, and it's a little more of like a fun kind of thing. It would be really cool if there was like timed rifts and stuff. I think that would add to the competitiveness of the endgame. Rift incursions come in a lesser and greater variety. When you first enter the ruins of Mortium to go toe-to-toe with General Cassis and General Lino, you'll be at just around the right power to begin disrupting the lesser rift incursions. The shards you gather from these will allow you to purchase shatter artifacts from local vampire traders, as well as tap into them to unlock spellcrafting secrets and gain powerful passive magic effects that enhance your abilities. Okay, more stuff. So yeah, they're saying there's going to be lesser rifts and greater rifts. When you first enter Ruins of Mortium, you can try and battle Cassius and Alina, and you can maybe do lesser rifts. So I assume you'll be doing lesser rifts up to once you've beaten those 2 bosses, and then later on you'll be doing greater rifts. Much later on, when you're nearly at the height of your power, you'll be ready to take on the higher level of rifts. The greater Stygian shards you gain can be used to unlock your final steps of magical mastery. If you feel like bartering, it can also be used to buy off powerful artifacts from a particularly affluent vampire trader. Getting an artifact in this way can be a bit of a gamble, but it may even net you something invaluable, like one of the new specialty legendary weapons with unique effects. Challenging the Legion of Noctem and Rift Slaying is the final step of your ascension towards striking into the Shadow Realm itself, where you will finally be able to challenge Dracula himself. Okay. Pretty straightforward. And then yeah, looks like May 8th it's approaching, and we'll go from there. So yeah, this is interesting. I'll talk a little bit about this rift system here for a minute before I finish this video. Obviously, this is something that is kind of similar, I think, from what I'm hearing, to like Diablo's rift system in a bit of a way. They want to have these in-game events where you're going to be doing different rifts at different levels. And that could very well mean that there will be greater level rifts where it's sounding here like they want the final thing to be you get into the Shadow Realm and you challenge Dracula. I think it would be really cool if there were like different levels of rifts and you can just keep on going up. They're saying right now that there's lesser and greater, but will there be more to that system than what it seems? We'll see. But yeah, super interesting stuff here. This looks like this is the area where you get the new weapons as well. I think from these rifts. So, anyways, that was the video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let me know if you are excited for 1.0, and I hope you have a great day.